So what I've done here is I've marinated the steak in sour orange with complete seasoning and a little bit of garlic powder, and I've let it sit for at least an hour. What I'll do now is I'm going to put a garlic clove into the garlic squisher, and I'm going to squish the clove to get all the garlic into there. It's good to season the steak more. Make sure you're washing your hands after you're touching the meat when you go to touch something else, so you don't cross-contaminate. Now that I have washed my hands thoroughly after touching the meat, I'm going to chop these tomatoes into nice slices, and I'm going to slice the onion as well. Now that I have sliced the onions, I'm going to saute them with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of lemon pepper. What I did was I put a little bit of olive oil, let the olive oil get hot, and I threw in the onions. Now I'm going to season it with a little bit of lemon pepper. You're going to do this by eye. Some people like more, some people like less. Stir until the onions become a little soft, a little golden. Now I've placed a little bit of olive oil in a separate pan. Make sure you're using a different fork from the onions with the steak, so you don't cross-contaminate. Now I'm going to place the steaks that have marinated in here for at least an hour onto the pan so they cook evenly and on both sides. I'm going to check it within a couple minutes to make sure that they're cooked thoroughly to 165 degrees, so we do not cause any foodborne illnesses. Put the juice on top. Now I'm gonna cut the tomatoes in half rondello cuts. Now that I've cut the tomatoes in half rondelles, I'm going to prepare the bread. So I've already gone ahead and I've cut my bread in half with my serrated knife. Make sure whenever you're switching products, such as using tomatoes, onions, meat, bread, you are washing your hands to avoid cross-contamination. I'm going to dip my knife into the mayonnaise, and I'm going to spread the mayonnaise onto the bread to prepare the bread for the meat. Now we're going to check the meat to make sure it's at 165. The meat has reached its desired temperature. I'm going to put the pieces of meat onto the bread. Going to add the onions. So half of the bread. And now I'm gonna add the tomatoes. To another half of the bread. Now the final ingredient is to add a couple potato sticks.